Hi, KG. Well bowled. I was just wondering, as a team, if you look at this test as a whole, would you say that was one of the most all rounded and almost a perfect matches in recent times in the past season or so?
Yes, first of all, thank you. And I think it was a really good team performance, especially from the bowlers. But it wasn't the easiest wicket to bat on, and I think the guys applied themselves well. We spoke about it, and we kind of knew what to expect after playing the 2-day warm-up game here. It was moving around quite a bit, and I thought that Aiden batted extremely well. Rassie absorbed pressure, and then Quinton just came on and just did his thing. That's the Quinny that we know. Um, and we've got so much potential in our team, and yeah, this test match, it came out, and we're hoping for more of the same. It's happened in the past, and we're hoping for more of the same in the future.
Hi, Kagiso, very well bowled. Did you feel in the first innings that you were a little bit unlucky? Because, I mean, you probably bowled just as well in the first innings and in the second, and it's your first 5-wicket haul since the Australia series back in 2018. Do you look at stats like that? Do you? I mean, I know that has been pointed out in the media a bit this week, but is that something that bothers you?
I guess you measure the highest accolades in cricket. You measure them by scoring hundreds, big hundreds, and taking fifers and tenfers. So, I mean, it's something that you always strive to do. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened for me in the past years, in the recent years. But I'm glad that it's happened today. The only thing you can judge yourself on is being consistent in your preparation. Um, I'm just really relieved. It's basically like scoring 100. Who wouldn't be happy with scoring 100? So I'm really glad with the performance that I put in. But without the support from other teammates, not necessarily supporting me, but the way that they're playing, it makes things a lot easier. Lungi's bowling exceptionally well. Anas has been bowling well for the past 2 years, and the batters came on board and scored some runs. So yeah, it is quite a relief, but I guess it's not something that you look for and that you're extremely desperate for. All you can do is control what you can control, and the rest, I guess, is up to the cricket gods. The cricket gods are on my side today, and on our team side.
Sorry, KG, just your first innings performance. Did you feel you bowled as well in the first innings and you were just a bit unlucky?
Look, sometimes that's the way the game goes. You can bowl extremely well and get no wickets. It's an old cliche, but it's funny how these cliches always repeat themselves in terms of one's performance or actions that happen or events that happen within a game. I thought I put the ball in the right areas, but it's just small adjustments that need to be made that you can get that LBW or get that nick off. And I think yeah, that's why this game is not easy, and sometimes that's why this game can be a bit unforgiving.
Thanks, KG. KG, South Africa has won the last 7 Test series against the West Indies, resulting in their sole loss against West Indies coming way back in 1992. What positives from this Test match will the team bring to the next test to shut out West Indies and try to win the series 1-0 or 2-0?
I think our team has got confidence from this win. We are a young team and we are rebuilding. Even our most experienced players are young. Like myself, Quinny, probably the most experienced of the team. And then you've also got Timber, and for me at 26 to be one of the most experienced, just gives you paints a picture of how young we are as a team, and it's going to give us massive confidence, not only moving into the next test match, but moving into the next year. But with that being said, we just need to stick to our processes, for the next game. You can't take anything for granted. We just need to take all the positives that we've established, that we've done in this test match, and keep building on those. And whatever we feel that we can adjust on in terms of what we have not done that well, we can fix those errors. But this win has given us, as a young team, a lot of confidence.
Okay, so very well bowled. It was such an emphatically different performance from South Africa, just as a team, from what we've seen, a little too often over the last while. And I just wonder, how does that happen? I mean, that all these moving parts can just suddenly all go in the right direction. I mean, I know you have a new captain. I don't think I've ever seen Dean Elgar so happy, never mind for 2 days. And I wonder, how can so many things go so right? Have you thought about that?
This game can be a little bit unforgiving, like I said before. But I think we were consistent in our preparations, and we established what type of cricket that we want to play, and set a few standards that we want to uphold. Is that the term? So we just literally stuck to that. And if we continue to do that, I guess the luck is going to be on our side more often than not. If you look at, in the previous games that we played, and myself included, we're probably lacking, in important times of the game, important periods of the game, and somehow just let the game slip away from us. We are good in batches, but then at times we can get quite sloppy. So I think that this test match, we just kept our foot on the throttle, and we've identified those moments where we feel that in the past we've kind of slacked off and stuck to our guns. But in saying that, it's not going to get any easier now. It's about consistency.
Hi, KG, well bowled. KG, I guess you had a good view of how Lungi was performing throughout the match, and you've mentioned him. Could you give us your assessment on what improvements you think he's made? And then also a quick one on Jayden Seales, who a lot of people have compared to you, and I think he quite likes you.
I think, thanks for those. I think Lungs bowled extremely well. Right from the training camp that we held in Centurion, he had the ball on a string. He was bowling really good lines and lengths. His wrist is in a really good position, and he just seemed extremely determined. And now we're just looking for that same intensity as a team right throughout the next coming years to come. But yeah, he bowled magnificently well, and he deserved all the credit that he received in that first innings. Even in the second innings, he bowled really well. Didn't pick up a wicket, so that's how the game can be unforgiving. But the most important thing is that as a team, we've come out and we've won. And then Jayden, I think, is a great prospect for the West Indies. The West Indies have always produced bowlers who can bowl really well, right to this day from the 80s. And I think they're just continuing the prestigious lineage of producing fast bowlers, and yeah, he's come to the fore. Look, I don't know how much he tried to copy me. I think he's just natural. To be honest, I don't see a huge similarity, maybe a small similarity between our bowling. But yeah, he's a good bowler, and he showed that in the first innings. So yeah, I wish him all the best.
Congrats, KG, on your performance. Tell me, what were your memories of the Caribbean before getting here on this tour? And I asked you that because I know you played a couple of ODIs a few years ago. I think it was 2016 here in the Caribbean on some pretty flat tracks in Guyana and St. Kitts and Barbados. Were you perhaps pleasantly surprised by how responsive this St. Lucia pitch was?
My favorite memory of coming to the West Indies was being on a catamaran in Barbados. That was probably one of my top memories. Look, it's kind of sucks that we in the West Indies and we have to be in a bubble. This is a phenomenal place. The cricket takes the credit. By the way, that was a joke. No one laughed. But I guess everything's muted. But yeah, I remember we played a tri-series in 2016. It was us, West Indies, and Australia, and it was a really good one day competition. We had a strong team. All three teams had strong teams. It was a one-day wicket. This is a test wicket, so you can't really compare the two formats. One-day cricket, you expect there to be, scores of 300 average, and this is a test match. They're probably going to leave more grass on it, and also we're bowling with a duke ball, so duke ball tends to do a bit more than a kookaburra because of the seam. It just swings all day too. So there's always there's always something to think about for the batters. But yeah, that's all I can say. But the West Indies is a phenomenal place to tour. It's probably my favorite.
Thanks very much, Will.